3 moves 2 completely different directions. 1 clear message. Something is shifting in San Francisco 49ers right now, and if you're really paying attention, you can feel it. This isn't random. This is a front office quietly revealing its blueprint for the future. And before we go any further, if you believe this team is building something special, go ahead and like, share, and subscribe right now. Because what we're about to break down isn't just news, it's a signal. Let me ask you something right off the bat. Are the Niners finally fixing the one problem that's been holding them back for years? Because on one side, you've got a move that's all about discipline, patience, and building something that lasts deep into January. And on the other side, you've got a situation that hits straight in the chest: money, loyalty, identity, the kind of decision that divides a fan base. And when you connect both, you start to see exactly who this team is trying to become. Let's start with the first piece of this puzzle, because this one might not dominate headlines, but it matters more than people think. When Matt Miller dropped his full 7-round mock draft for the 49ers, it didn't scream excitement. It didn't give you flashy highlights or viral moments. It gave you something better. Reality. Out of 6 total picks, 4 were spent in the trenches. Let that sink in. This wasn't about adding another shiny weapon. This wasn't about headlines. This was about survival in playoff football. This was about protecting Brock Purdy, opening lanes for Christian McCaffrey, and finally building a defensive front that can consistently hunt quarterbacks. And when you look around the NFC, it starts to make perfect sense. Teams like the Los Angeles Rams and the Seattle Seahawks didn't just get lucky. They built from the inside out. They dominated the line of scrimmage, and both ended up deep in the playoffs. That's not coincidence. That's a blueprint. So let's break this down piece by piece. With the 27th overall pick, the 49ers select Caleb Lomu, offensive tackle out of Utah. Now at first glance, this might not get fans jumping out of their seats. But if you really understand football, this is a loud move. Because here's the reality: Trent Williams isn't getting younger. He's approaching the later stages of his career, and there are already questions surrounding his contract situation. That's not something you ignore. That's something you prepare for. Lomu has been rock solid at left tackle, allowing just 3 sacks in the entire 2024 season. Think about that level of consistency. That's not luck, that's discipline, technique, and reliability. He's agile, balanced, and built for the kind of offensive system the 49ers run. This isn't about plugging a hole tomorrow. This is about making sure that when the future arrives, you're ready for it. This is how championship teams think. Then comes the second round, pick number 58, and the focus shifts to defense. Enter Gabe Jacquez, edge rusher out of Illinois. And this one feels necessary. Jacquez isn't the flashiest pass rusher you'll ever see. He's not the kind of guy who wins with pure speed off the edge every snap. But what he brings is something the 49ers have desperately needed at times: power and consistency. Standing at 6 feet 4 inches, 260 pounds, with 11 sacks in his most recent season and 27 over his college career, he's the type of player who wears you down. He doesn't just rush the passer, he fights through you. Once he gets leverage, he can collapse the pocket with force. And let's be honest, with the injuries this team has dealt with on the defensive line in recent seasons, depth isn't optional anymore. It's critical. Now here's where things get even more telling. All 4 of the next picks, every single one, come in the 4th round. And every single one is about depth. Logan Jones, center out of Iowa. A tough, physical interior lineman who could realistically compete for a starting job. Charles Deming, cornerback from Stephen F. Austin. Long, athletic, and coming off a strong season with multiple interceptions. Deontay Lawson, linebacker out of Alabama. Smart, instinctive, and capable of adding flexibility to the middle of the defense. And Darrell Jackson Jr., defensive tackle from Florida State. A big-bodied interior presence with experience and strength. Now step back for a second and look at the bigger picture. No wide receivers. No flashy offensive weapons. No headline pick. What does that tell you? It tells you this front office believes in what they already have. It tells you they trust Christian McCaffrey to carry the load. It tells you they believe Brock Purdy is their guy. And it tells you they're done ignoring the foundation. Because for years, fans have been saying the same thing. When the pressure ramps up in the playoffs, when the weather gets colder, when every possession matters, games are won in the trenches. And maybe Just maybe, they're finally listening. But just when you think the story is all about patience and long-term planning, everything shifts. Because now we move to the second situation, and this one feels completely different. This one feels personal. During league meetings, General Manager John Lynch addressed a topic that had fans dreaming. The idea of bringing Joey Bosa to San Francisco, to line up alongside his brother Nick Bosa. Just imagine that for a second. Two elite pass rushers. Same bloodline. Same defensive line. It sounds unfair. It sounds like something straight out of a video game. But reality hit fast. Lynch didn't dance around it. He didn't tease it. He didn't sell hope. He shut it down. Not because of talent, but because of money. And that says everything. Joey Bosa is still a high-level player. 5-time Pro Bowler. Over 70 career sacks. A consistent force when healthy. Even recently, he's shown he can still impact games. But the 49ers, they made a decision. They chose discipline over dreams. And here's where things get really interesting. Because instead of making that splash move, they turn around and completely reshape their wide receiver room. First, they bring in Mike Evans. And this is not a small move. We are talking about one of the most consistent receivers of the modern era. A player who recorded over 1,000 receiving yards in each of his first 11 seasons. That kind of production doesn't happen by accident. It happens because of elite talent and relentless consistency. Yes, injuries slowed him down recently. Yes, there are questions about longevity. But when he's healthy, he changes everything. The 49ers secured him on a 3-year deal worth over $40 million. And more importantly, he wanted to be there. That matters. That speaks to culture. That speaks to belief in what this organization is building. Then they added Christian Kirk. Now this move might not get the same level of hype, but don't overlook it. Because we've already seen what Kirk can do when he's in the right system. Back in his peak season, he put up elite numbers, proving he can be a reliable, high-volume target. If the 49ers unlock that version of him, this offense just got deeper and more dangerous. Now here's the emotional part. While new names are coming in, one familiar name is walking out. Jennings. And if you've watched this team closely, you know what he meant. He wasn't just a stat guy. He was a tone setter, a physical presence, a player who made tough catches in big moments. Letting him go isn't just a roster move. It's a statement. And this brings us to the question of the day. Did the 49ers make the right call choosing Mike Evans and Christian Kirk over keeping Jauan Jennings? Drop your answer in the comments below. I want to hear where you stand on this. Because when you connect all of these moves together, something becomes very clear. This team went 12-5 last season. They battled injuries. They took down the Philadelphia Eagles in the playoffs, and came up just short against the Seattle Seahawks, who went on to win it all. That's not failure. That's proximity. That's a team knocking on the door. And now, they're making calculated decisions. They're not chasing every big name. They're not overpaying for hype. They're choosing where to invest, and where to trust. On one side, you've got the draft strategy, build the trenches, protect your quarterback, extend the life of your running game, and reinforce your defense. On the other side, you've got roster management, passing on Joey Bosa, bringing in proven veterans like Mike Evans and Christian Kirk, and making the tough call to move on from Jauan Jennings. That's not emotional decision-making. That's controlled. That's intentional. That's a front office saying, we are not just trying to win now, we are trying to stay winning. And I'll say it straight. This feels like a team that knows exactly how close it is. Is it perfect? No. You can question passing on Joey Bosa. You can worry about the aging offensive line. You can debate ignoring skill positions in the draft. But you can't ignore the vision. Protect the quarterback. Win in the trenches. Add veterans who believe in the system. Build something that lasts through the grind of a full season. Because at the end of the day, this all comes down to execution. If these moves hit, this isn't just a playoff team. This is a Super Bowl team. And one last thing before we wrap this up. Do you feel it too? That sense that something big is coming for this team next season? Because if you do, then you already know. The foundation is being set.